Wow, this is actually much more deeper and much more well thought out than the previous headlines and so on. And it's probably one of the best interviews that I've seen that has been reviewed for us all. So yeah, let's look into it then. Firstly, I wanted to point out that the silhouette is indeed a region boss, and basically the title basically just means the players will just see the characters resolve and camaraderie as they take on the challenges. Yeah, that's all. Nothing much interesting about it. But the region boss is confirmed, and the information about this boss is just unknown because they are still preparing for it. So yeah, so far we only know about this silhouette here through. We only know about the region boss inquiries through this silhouette, and that's it. So other than that, we also have them explaining about how beautiful the snowfields are in quarries and how there are actually some hot springs for you to take picture in. Very interesting. But the most important part is this one. Hiro Arai asked about why they are inspired to add in a mini game thing called it the courses. So the dev team then actually asked, then they actually talk a response about it. Is that they've been wanting to implement some multiplayer content outside of combat for a while now. Wow, not surprising, huh? I mean, so far in Elio and Rhythm region, we just don't really have much content to play with, to be honest. So finally, with this update, they will be able to, have a new way to enjoy the open field. The reason why they are not able to do that is because of I guess they got bottleneck in their development period in between Elio and Breton region. That's why they are not able to develop that. And yeah, hopefully this is going to be carried on in the future. By the way, so and not to mention that there is going to be another two courses in Elio and a single one in Breton, which means you can also play this overboard mini game in these other regions as well. Very, very fantastic. Yeah, fantastic news. Other than that, we talk about like how much is the requirements. You can see here you require a character with level 33 with a battle power of 18, 13 or higher in order to, survive in the Quarries region, because the monsters here and the mobs and the bosses are generally above level 37. So yeah, be careful about that. After that, we talk about the Quarries region. I think these are very, very basic informations. But the very interesting lore about it is that all the NPCs in the shop were all robots, according to Hiro Arai when he played this playtest game, playtest version. So the dev teams actually explained that these are robots that were salvaged when the Arcs actually discovered them, So since they discovered them and they realized they have the shopkeeper function, they might as well just use that to tend the tend the shops now. So it will be a much different take on NPCs, I guess, other than just putting human NPCs there, here and there. So now we'll be able to interact with robots that are not cars. Interesting. I guess our lore is much more fleshed out currently now in this whole statement than the rest of our game at the moment. So other than that, we also have a comment about the mounts, or if there's a possibility of actually having mounts in the game. But for the most part, the dev teams just agree that they are going to release motion changes where players can ride on them and stuff like that. But yeah, it's really just underwhelming because it's there's no speed differences between those vehicles that you can ride and the Photon Dash. That's why it's so underwhelming. But in the future, I believe they are going to add in like mounts that will be much faster than the Photon Dash, but it will be limited into certain areas as what they have stated here. So hopefully we will be able to get more vehicles other than the hoverboards that we see in the Quarries region. And yeah, that AIS as a vehicle in the future is definitely something that I wish we have in the future. After that, they talk about like the floating boards and the throwing action. Apparently, the throwing action is something that you can use to interact with bosses and so on. Not only that, I'm gonna explain about why the throw action is actually quite unique as well. Because apparently there are also some containers that you had to use this action to destroy, which will be coming in handy. This other than the ice, crystal ice that we can actually see, you can also use the throw action to throw bombs. So yeah, interesting. So at least now we can throw stuff in our open fields as well, other than just attacking as usual. After that, we talk about floating boards. Very simple. Basically, these floating boards are not limited into competitions or racing courses. You can literally use this floating board to collect gathering items on. You can literally use it to collect for gathering items as well. But this, but they technically just stated that this is only for on a specialized course. So who knows? Hopefully they are able to release a motion change or at least allow us to write this out in the open field. That would be so great for collecting materials daily. After that, they are just going to explain to us now the existing trials will have more variations because previously the dev teams here actually stated that they cannot implement a lot of functions into Retem. Hence why Alio and Retem is basically literally the same. But now, when they are working on this Quarries update, they kept in mind and consciously work on these new gameplay elements to fulfill players' wishes, which are very, very good because that is literally what we players wanted for so long. After that, they talk about our co-op trials. They talk about the new outfit is just it's basically just providing Aina more protection against the clothes. Yeah, very cool, but it's just a minor information, I suppose. After that, they will explain about the throw action. So the throw action, apparently the throw action and the floating board that we talk about is not going to be limited to the Quarries region. It will be expanded in the areas of gameplay in the future as well, which Hiro Arai himself somehow know about it. And the dev team responded by saying they are developing a new type of quest which will require the players to use the throw action to complete. And he will give further details when it's actually closer to release. I believe that means they're going to implement this kind of throwing the throw action and the floating boards in the Alio and Retem region as well as other regions in the future. So it will be such a great idea, I suppose, because at the moment the open field is really, really just stale. Something interesting in the open field will be much, much better and very, very welcome, especially for everybody. After that, additionally, they say that they're going to plan to release more content for the field races. Wow, interesting. Where you can actually race other players on floating boards. After that, we can just skip immediately to the synopsis of Chapter 3 story. So basically, the reason why we are even entering Quarries region is to actually upgrade the central cannon to, fix it, and also to find the researcher that was gone missing to hopefully able to repair and further improve the central cannon so we can defeat the Dark Files. Hence why we are stuck when we completed the Dark Files urgent quest, where the cannon just, he just tanked the whole cannon and he just disappeared into nothing. So yeah, hopefully this is where we can have a much more better closure to how we can defeat the Dark Files in the future. So as for highlight, we can see for more, comical exchanges, all those basic stuff. And apparently they have been developing a lot of the scenes that have more, facial reactions and more. They actually improve a lot of those animations in Retem region already from the NPCs when we are doing the cutscenes and stuff and so on. It's definitely a step up from Alio region, but apparently they have started to do that already before we send feedback to them. So technically, they are improving the animations for all those story sections. So yeah, progressing onwards, they hopefully will be able to provide a much more character depth into all those main characters and further immerse everybody in the world of NGS. Yeah, I'm very glad that they are actually improving a lot about the characters and stuff like that. And also a bonus details here is that Mary and Koka is not in a relationship. Sorry, shippers. Yep. the dev team literally destroy your ship here. Yeah. Moving on, they talk about the important parts like the BP here. So Hiro Arai asked that basically reaching a certain BP is very, very difficult, especially for casual and returning players. Is there an easier way for us to level up? The dev team literally asked us that there is going to have a lot of extra side tasks will be available in Quarry's region, and all those side tasks is definitely going to help you to achieve at least one class getting to level 16 rather smoothly. That means these side tasks have a lot of EXP. So, hold on to your boosters and so on, because you can just do side tasks to get one character to level 60 and that's it. You can use that character as a sub and level up other classes. So other than that, it will be level cap beyond 60. The dev teams actually have stated that they will increase the level cap to 65 in October. However, they will actually make it easier for everybody to level up as well. Despite the level cap being even higher now. So what they are going to actually implement is that they're going to lower the amount of earned EXP that's reduced when the enemy is like 5 levels lower than the player. Very, very good. This makes like the rank 1 maps very, very viable for people who are in the middle of like grinding their low level characters, low level classes to like higher levels before they proceed on to unlock into rank 2 or rank 3. So it will be much easier to level those classes up as well. And the most important part as well is that they are going to literally remove the EXP reduction in yellow triggers, which is such a lifesaver. That means that people are hoarding the yellow triggers nowadays are going to hoard them. There are people who, are been collecting yellow triggers are finally able to use them, because in the future, the yellow triggers will have no EXP reduction at all, even if you reach a certain level. Because currently, in Battle Deer yellow triggers, if you reach a certain level, your EXP gain from that trigger completion is just very, very low, and that literally kills it in the process. So hopefully this will revitalize a lot of those unused triggers and make it the go-to for a lot of players who wanted to rush leveling in yellow triggers. Alright, that will be such a great update. That's how Hiro Arai stated here as well. After that, we talk about skills. Hunters, they say they recommend the Sword Art's Power Charge, which will become more powerful when they charge. Yeah, very, very cool. And then they recommend the chain trigger count retained for gunners. Hopefully, they also fix the gunner chain trigger issue as well in the future. After that, we also have our tactors. They recommend about the one art skip attack, which turns normal attack into dirt step after a series of PA. Pretty good. They are basically just making the tactors like a hunter's swords, I suppose, which is pretty strange. I mean, yeah, it's like a pseudo hunter, I suppose. Then players also can combine this like skill with the one attack extra, which it makes it even more similar like a hunter's sword. It literally adds another normal attack into the once combo, making once even more powerful. Yep. But we will have to see if that is actually enough for our one players out there. After that, we have some katana PA. Combo finish is very great. Yeah, it's the general gist of what PSO2 katana has always been with bravers, I suppose. Yeah, that is the same thing they're bringing back. And there will be other skills that we don't even know, and they will be mostly reviewed in the future NGS headline in the end of the May. Hopefully we can get more info on them there. The enemies are also very, very funny this time around, because you see, as we can see here, the new boss, Crocodilis, will throw an exploding object at you. And since we can use the throw action, we can actually fight back by throwing it back, which is a very, very new method of combat that we probably haven't experienced before. It will be such a fun thing to play ball with this boss, I suppose. And yeah, that will be a very, very interesting detail. Hopefully other bosses can also implement like this kind of system so that we can have throwing ball contests. And there will be speedrunners that literally defeat bosses by just throwing balls at them. That will be so fun. Other than that, we also have like the interesting enemies like the Proctis Ale and the Proctis Retum. I'm not sure what unique are they, what kind of design they are unique on, but I guess yeah, let's see about that. Other than that, the bosses apparently would actually boost the boss enemies in the quarries will actually buff up a lot of the nearby doors when they appear. That's why the mobs surrounding the bosses are very dangerous as well, other than just the boss alone. So this time around, you need to defeat all the mobs around the boss before actually fighting him, because if the doors that is nearby is boosted and one of the attacks hit you, you will actually be in a whole lot of pain. So hopefully, yeah, it will be like an equalizing system, but without the super armor, I suppose. Interesting. That will be making it much more challenging, I suppose. After that, we can talk about mysterious creatures. Interesting. So since Hiro Arai himself personally played this, the playtest himself, basically he also have encountered some unnamed wildlife. Whoa, interesting. I guess there's some lore pieces that we can actually extract from here. The ecosystem in Quarries is much more varied in Breton. There are snowman-like ones, snail-like ones, creatures that look like spotted garden eels and more. Yeah, wow, that's actually a lot of variety. Interesting. And yep, there will be a very interesting thing that we can find out in that region. And he was engrossed in Hiro Arai literally just said he was engrossed in everything. He didn't notice at all the different behaviors during his playtest. Yeah. And the devs are literally just joke. Yeah, to be honest, I wish I could have gone one step further and make them react to the player's movement. But yeah, hopefully in the future there is something like that. But then Hiro Arai actually asked about like is there any plans to make the mech form accessories based on the wildlife? No, not really. Yeah. After that, they talk about urgent quests. So, will there be like two types of urgent quests in this region? Yes, the dev team's answer. There will be like players will be able to fight the Vera versions of previously mentioned crocodiles. Yep, yeah, definitely. And there will be an urgent quest with new mechanics introducing players to new combat experiences. Ooh. We like to keep the other urgent quests under wraps for now. Oh hell yeah! Let's hopefully see what is up for those new urgent quests would look like, you know. And after that, they talk about the Ray George Gorge. So I explored a sector during my playtest where my character took damage by just moving around. Interesting. So now they will have environmental damage from the environments that you travel in. Interesting. So I guess in this place, if you want to take photos at all, you need to have a photo room, because it literally minus your health by just moving in this region. So yeah, that's a very cool idea to add it into our open fields, especially since how boring our open fields currently are and how safe they are currently. This is a very welcome effect, and I believe this is going to carry on into like other similar regions in the future as well. I believe in the next region there will be some hazard zones, especially in the lava region as well, if I'm not wrong. So yeah. And then this region apparently is like a half exploration sector. Wow, interesting. So in order to keep our energy up, we need to strengthen our resistance to this damage with boost effects from the region max. Finally, a substantial importance for our region max. Wow. I mean, so far we've been only feeding our region max for like bonuses and boosts and stuff like that, but now region max are going to become much more important than usual in quarries and maybe in the future regions. Hence why we need to definitely feed our region max constantly now in order to avoid like us dying in this kind of a harsh region, I suppose. That's a very good idea. And after that, we talk about like if our characters are ready to buff up on the first week after Quarry's release, because then extremely powerful enemy will be waiting for us in this depth of this Ray George Gorge after that. Oh boy, I wonder what that is. After that, they talk about the new augments. Well, Hiro Arai actually expressed that he is very worried that fixing this to counter the low temperature damage would make any gear quarries only to be less useful. And the dev would actually say like Yeah, you are right that there are definitely augments that reduce like the status effects or the reduction of the damage. However, they also have prepared other augments that can combine this resistance boost with potency. Amazing. That means in the field we can definitely have like combinations of all these different different resistance boosts and potency boosts that we can mix and match. So every players can farm them and use them instead of just using singular resistance boost or potency boost. Wow, that's actually a very good update. So where does all these things drop is basically from that gorge as well, which is wow, very very scary. So that means this region is probably the end game region that we always going to strive for. And I'm glad because at least give us something that is going to be challenging, other than just another exploration region. And this is a very very good update. After that, they talk about the NGS headline on the previous headline that we showed about our forest region. We have a new 6-star weapon, the Sagittal series and the Evol Eclipse series. So the players stated that the devs actually answered that the players can create the multi weapons that they wanted with their series because they don't include like all weapons. So for the future updates, they plan to develop a weapon series they plan to develop all the future weapon series to be including all categories. Yep, because you see, even the current Obscura weapons, they don't really include all weapons, and that is pretty bad, I believe. They shouldn't just remove all the weapon types for the sake of being unique at all. So then Hiro Arai asked the most important question as well. What sets the Sagittal and the Evol Eclipse series apart from other series? Of all the 6 stars weapon series, the Sagittal series is easiest to get from drops. Ah, yeah, interesting. Ooh, interesting. I thought Sagittal is going to be another relic weapon because they are resellable, but apparently not. So the Sagittal series is going to be like easily droppable, like how Synchron weapons are. And after that, their potential will provide extra potency against non-boss enemies. Ah, it's those kind again. Oh well, I guess it's very good for mobbing, I suppose. After that, the Evol Eclipse series is, yep, as usual, very, very powerful. You get increased potency as well as natural PP recovery after successful sidestep dodge. So this means that you guys are definitely going to benefit from, maxing out your Evol Eclipse because they already confirmed that Sagittal is going to be the next Cuckoo Rosette weapon or Synchron weapon, which is very, very common to drop, or I think it's much more towards the Evol Code series, I suppose. And the Evol Eclipse will be the Struggle weapons. I think this is basically what their weapons are going to be equivalent to, I suppose. So that's why you need to stock up a lot of those preparation tickets, the Quarries Expedition prep tickets. They are going to be so valuable then. After that, they talk about, yes, finally, we are able to get strong weapon that is just through the weapon exchange. But then Hiro Arai also asked a very important question as well. It also gives us me a feeling that even stronger weapons will debut in the future. Can you tell us about anything about that? So the dev team actually just responded, while we are preparing more powerful weapons in the future, we will definitely need to use the current ones to meet the requirements. So yep, if you are to, build up your Sagittal or the Evol Eclipse weapons, it's still going to be, beneficial regardless. Yep, I think we are going to get new series probably the further down, I suppose. And these 2 series of weapons will be very, very vital and will be probably have a very long mile age, I suppose, especially the Evol Eclipse weapon. So after that, they'll explain about auto cell feature. Yeah, I believe this is literally the feature that everybody wanted. And they also planned they wanted to build quest counter where the players will be able to play the story events and quests. Yes, finally. I mean, the story is not much, but hey, people who are interested in the lore might want to return to those story beats and record something that is unusual, or just check out if there's something unusual in between those stories, or about what the NPCs actually stated in those story clips. for story context and stuff. It will be very good for us lore nerds, I suppose. Additionally, they have a new face option. Imposing face. Oh, well, interesting, I guess. And yeah, Hiro Arai Dev is probably a muscular old man showing off their gains. Yeah. And they plan to release those in the SE, which is pretty good. After that, the final message from the development team. Like, when they're developing the forest region, the dev teams actually just stated, yeah, they are struggling a lot more with this region, especially more so than the past regions, because they are focusing on expanding and adding new player interactions and actions and ways to explore the map. And even as we speak now, and up until the release date, the entire team is dedicated to developing, making improvements so we can deliver the best experience possible to our players in June. So that's fantastic. So I guess the dev teams just wanted to, thank us all, and hopefully we are looking forward to their development progress, and we are confident that players will like Quarries more and stay tuned for the major release. Hopefully we'll be having fun exploring the tundra. So looking from all this and all, you can just realize how much passion the dev teams are finally exuding from all these statements here. These are the kinds of interviews that are very, very important, because not only did Hiro Arai actually play tested the whole game, but he also asked very, very relevant questions that every player wanted to know answers about. And I wish we have operation reports as in-depth as questions asked in this interview. Hopefully Sega is able to understand how great this deep dive information is, and they will be able to keep the hype alive. So yeah, this is my video about the new update, about the interview that they conducted, and I believe this is much more flushed out than the previous headlines. Hopefully we'll be getting more news in the 31st of May about the new headline, and I can't wait for the new content drops. Hopefully there will be much more greater news we can see in the future of PSO2 NGS. And that's it. Thank you for watching.